A lot of times people look at people on the outside, especially through social media, and it seems like they have it all together. And the distance from where they are to where they want to go is so huge. And I know you as a coach, you really help people with like the steps. Like it's a process.
And I always say that they're always waiting for them, but why do you have to wait to be happy? Like I reckon right now, like if I waited for something else, there was one day I dreamed of having this life. So why am I like, do you know what I mean? Enjoy it while you're here, whilst you're still working to progress. But I think people are always focusing on the next thing. They never sit back and actually take in what they've actually got right now. So yeah, that's a big thing.
Welcome to the House of Jermar podcast, where wellness starts within. The House of Jermar is a lifestyle brand empowering women to live all in through interior design and personal wellness. We are a destination for women ready to reimagine what is possible in their homes and lives and then create it. We are honored to have you join us on our mission to empower 1 million women to live all in. I am your host, Jean Collins, and I invite you to become inspired by this week's guest. Welcome to the House of Jermar podcast, where wellness starts within. I'm your host, Jean Collins, and today we are going to talk about confidence. I am so excited for this beautiful soul who is my guest today, Louise Colyer. She's coming all the way. I'm in Connecticut. She's in the UK. I screwed up the first time we were supposed to record, which is totally my fault. And she is just such an amazingly beautiful soul. And I had the greatest time talking to her when we did our pre-call. So I am so excited to bring to you guys her story, everything that she is doing. When I say she is just a badass individual, she is, and just has a heart of gold. So Louise, thank you for joining us from all the way over in the UK.
Hello. Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure. Honestly, thanks for having me.
You are welcome. I am so excited to share your story. And I will just give a caveat to everybody. If, we don't know how this recording is going to go, so we're going to give it our best shot here.
Yes.
And, we might break up and have to start again, which is fine. It's all good. This is real life. But her story is so important that it is worth trying to bring it to you. And she is traveling. So she's not even in her home. So I have not afforded her the luxury of her being in her own home. She's traveling. So we're going to talk about that too. And I appreciate her making the time while she is traveling. So to get started, your story is wow. So wow. Would you mind sharing a little bit about your background that has gotten you to where you are today?
Okay, I don't actually know where to start because there's so many elements. So if you start from like when I was very, very young, I never really fit in. I was bullied for being mixed race. I was different out of the family. I never really had like any identity, and I had to grow up really, really quickly. And this kind of followed me through my life, through like my marriage. I married into a Mauritian family. So again, I was kind of like the black sheep out of the family. A lot of bullying was happening, not just in that, but like in childhood and everything. To the point where life got really, really tough. The point where at the same time, I lost all my family, like my mum, my dad, my brother, my husband, my dog, my home, my businesses, a baby, all at the same time. And then we went into COVID. And at this point, I was really unhappy. I was actually a size 24, very overweight. I really hated myself. I was like, I just couldn't stand anything. And at that point, I didn't have anything except myself being unhealthy.
That is a serious low. You losing everything is a serious low. So our listeners might not be at a low that's quite as low as yours was. However, you were able to come out of your low. So and it's COVID, which is a low for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have the double low. So what did you do? What were the first steps that you started to take to come out of this incredible low?
I always say there wasn't something dramatic that actually happened to me to make me like, okay, I want to change this around. It was very, very gradual. So like I didn't need, like when I found like a room, and eventually I stayed in a room, and it was like this moldy room. I didn't leave the house for like 3-4 months, but eventually one of my friends was texting me all the time saying, get up, get a wash, doing like basic things. And just one day I listened, and then just like this is going to sound disgusting, but I brushed my teeth and I had a wash and I just felt better. And then from there, I started like introducing like 10 minutes of exercise here, there, and everywhere. And that just like focusing on myself and realizing me doing something for myself. Because obviously, for my whole life, I'd looked after other people. I never knew who I did. My whole life was dedicated to other people. This was the first time I'd actually done something to make me feel better. And it kind of like, this I grew a lot of self-love, a lot of self-confidence over the years from just that point where I was like, oh my God, that wash has actually made me feel fresh without realizing. Going from that, like I feel a bit fresh now. Like I actually feel good without having all of these people and having all of that. So it was just the simplest of things that started it. Obviously, it wasn't just that. But
Yep, but you're not the first guest I've had on that has said that. I had
yeah,
another guest on during season 1 who was also, very overweight and was, had a drinking problem and was at a very low point. And she said hers started with taking a vitamin. And then her next step was having a face routine, washing
yeah,
her face. And it sounds so
simple.
simple, yet at the same time, when you're in that low, the act of doing something for yourself, as small as that is and as simple as that is, can be what starts you onto an entire journey of personal wellness.
Honestly, the change in just having a wash, and I know that sounds crazy, is amazing. So this is why with like my clients or anybody, I recommend what can you do right now? Like you don't have to look for anything significant. Right now, there is something that you can do to lift yourself up immediately.
Yeah, which is a really important point because we live in a society that's like, I will be happy when, I will feel better about myself when, I will go to the gym and exercise when
Yeah,
this happens. And when a lot of times people look at people on the outside, especially through social media, and it seems like they have it all together. And the distance from where they are to where they want to go is so huge.
yeah,
And I know you as a
exactly.
coach, you really help people with like the steps. Like it's a process.
And I always say that they're always waiting for them, but why do you have to wait to be happy? Like, I reckon right now, like if I waited for something else, there was one day I dreamed of having this life. So why am I like, do you know what I mean? Enjoy it while you're here, whilst you're still working to progress. But I think people are always focusing on the next thing.
So talk to me about exercise because you've lost a ton of weight. How did that happen?
Like I said, started very, very small in this like moldy room, 10 minutes, 10, 20 minutes, started there. And then I started. So previously, I was in the army. I used to box. I used to be very, very athletically fit. But then through like mental health and everything, I did gain a lot of weight. So I was completely opposite to what I used to be. But every single time I got like athletically fit last time, it was because of an external thing. It was because I wanted to look good, or I had like a boxing match, or I had something to actually work towards. So this time it was like losing COVID. And I was like, I've got nothing, I can't do any of them. It's just literally for me. So I started just doing exercise in my room when the gym started to open. I just started going to the gym, started eating healthier, starting doing little things. And it wasn't because I used to suffer with eating disorders, even from a child. Like I used to have like binge eating disorder. I used to like hide food. So I'd go from one end of the spectrum to the other. So like I did next to nothing, or I'd eat absolutely everything. So I've been really, really thin. I don't like saying skinny, but like not very big. I've been very small and I've been very, very big from each spectrum. But this is the first time I learned how to use my intuition about how my body feels, what was good for me, what wasn't good for me, and eat from that. And I just lost weight because I started to love myself and I wanted to exercise. And I think there's a massive difference from doing it from an external goal to actually wanting to feel good, to wanting to just be healthy and just have a better life for yourself. Whereas all the other times I trained or anything, it was just because I wanted to look good, or I had a boxing match or a run or something. So it wasn't until I lost my whole identity and I was learning how to love myself. I was like, oh my God, exercise is actually really good for me. These foods are good for me. And then that's how I naturally lost like 52 kg without, and I reversed like my eating disorder. So like, obviously like sometimes I get a little bit of triggers, but you work through them, and it's a really good thing because I wasn't aware of that in the past. I just thought, oh, this is what I do. But now I'm so aware of what I'm doing. I just love how it makes me feel. And I think learning to love how you feel because you deserve it that's what changed for me. And that's why I love exercise more than what I used to.
So I have a question, and I don't know what the answer is going to be to this question, but as I'm listening to you talk, I can visualize the you back then. right? The overweight, I've lost everything, you don't have a lot of self-confidence. Trying to find that self-love is so difficult. So,
Yeah.
when you were that person and you looked in the mirror at yourself, what did you see?
That's a really difficult question because I don't think I actually did see myself, because from a young age I was always like looking after like my mum, or I was looking after my brother. As I grew up, I always had something else to focus on. I don't think I ever focused it on me. So when I did look in the mirror, think I don't actually know. It was someone completely different. So I straightened my hair for the first time last year, or was it this year? Something like that. And I literally looked in the mirror, and the first time, I haven't straightened my hair since before COVID, or
Yeah.
them COVID times when I'd lost everything. And I literally cried because I didn't recognize that person. So that was the first time I straightened it from them. So I don't actually remember what I seen. I just remember how I felt. I just remember hiding and crying because I never fit into my clothes on my birthday and stuff like that. But I don't actually remember what I seen. But when I seen that girl in the mirror when I straightened my hair, I didn't like it.
It brought back those memories.
Yeah. So I'm not going to straighten my hair.
So, when did you learn about confidence? Did you know at the time that you didn't have a lot of self-confidence and that you had to figure out how to build that? Or did confidence come later?
No, I actually generally thought I was confident. I thought I was shy because I was never able to speak to more than two people at a time without sweating and stuff. I thought I was generally shy. So I thought there was some areas where I didn't have confidence. But then I knew I had confidence to achieve things because I came from literally nothing. But then they told me to quit uni to be a teacher. But I was like, I'm going to do this. So like deep down, I was like, I'm still going to do it. So like I still managed to do it. Like people saying, "Oh, you're not going to earn a lot." So I built a businesses. I did things. I always had the confidence that I could do it, but when it actually came out, I looked like I didn't have confidence. So I think it was more of a battle inside. Deep down, I've always had it in me, which I didn't know because or else I wouldn't have been able to achieve what I had. But then I had to learn how to really, really know that I was confident. It was just some sort of friction inside of me that I didn't even know.
Yeah, and you had to work through that.
Yeah.
How did you do that? Did you get help from other people, books, podcast? Like, how do you do that?
Looking at my life on a bird's eye perspective, like literally looking at like my spiritual journey, my exercise, what I'm putting into my body, and emotional intelligence. How am I reacting to things? And looking, and this is do you know like your habits, your positive habits, and what you're
Mhm.
actually doing? I noticed how I am actually a really positive person, and seeing how I was different and around different people in different areas, certain things I could feel were off, and that's when I was noticing. I was just like, I'm only like this in this area. This isn't right for me. And I learned why. And then now when I go into these certain environments or around these people, I know how to handle it. Whereas before I was just like, I didn't understand what all these feelings were. I didn't understand why I felt like that. So I just thought it was in me, but I just didn't understand because when you're around certain things and growing up are quite different, but I learned how to navigate the emotions. It was just literally looking at what made me feel good and just changing my mind perspective on things. So in my head of when you've been told certain things from a child, you take that through your adulthood. So you have to kind of like not reverse, but your thoughts in your brain are like a muscle. So you have to kind of like subconsciously change your thoughts and work on your thoughts. It's just like a muscle. So like I was noticing, like sitting back when I was with people, the thoughts I was having about myself, half the room probably wasn't even thinking that. And this is where you have to change your thought patterns just as you would. We all go to the toilet, we flush the toilet, we brush our teeth every morning. We have more habits and thought patterns we have in our subconscious mind than we do in real life, but nobody actually becomes aware of them. So I've really gone into the subconscious and like, what am I telling myself every single day? Because that's what I'm listening to the most.
Did you meditate? Is that part of your practice?
Yeah, I meditate every day. I do journal, but I don't journal. So like I like writing some positive thoughts. So like if I'm having I like to like I don't really like journaling as such. I like to like positive things that have happened in the day, what's going to happen tomorrow. Walking. I literally love walking. First thing in the morning, I will either go for a walk or I'll go straight to the gym. I always set off my day without speaking to anybody else and doing something for myself for the first hour. And just yeah, making sure I surround myself with like-minded people. I think your environment really makes a massive difference. So, like I've said, I've just left my own home. So, like,
Yeah.
people are saying, "Oh, you can come stay here," but there's been times where I'm like, "No, it's okay." I've chose somewhere where I feel like the environment's nice for me. Even though there's not much space, but the people are lovely. Like the energy is nice. You've got to be really careful, and you've got to be able to have confidence. If it's not the right energy for you, you have to walk away from it, no matter the consequences, because what's going to hold you back, and then you become a part of that.
Yeah. All so true. Wow. So, how did your business start? Did it start from exercise? How did it start?
When I started to love exercise because what it was doing for me rather than what I was starting to look like how it was changing my life and the perspective I was having on life, I was like, right, I can help. I knew I was going to change. I was actually a dentistry teacher at that time. It was in COVID, and I was like, this doesn't feel right. I know I'm going to be doing something different. And I thought it was either going to be helping people or animals. I started doing a zoology course, but that didn't feel right. So I then I don't, it was so weird. And then I was like, right, I'm going to help people the way this has helped me through exercise. So I became a PT nutritionist. Absolutely great. Started doing my PT, and I literally loved it. But then the way I learned to love exercise was I started to lose the weight because I loved doing it for myself. Whereas I noticed when I was at a PT, which I am still a PT, you can easily give someone a program, easily. You can look at somebody, give them a program, tell them a meal plan, whatever it is. But getting somebody to want to do it for themselves is a completely different thing. They will do it for a few months, they might get bored and they'll be like, oh, well, I've got into my dress now. And it will just be like, and it will just go to the back burner. I want people to want to love themselves enough, confident enough that they can take it into life. So I did like psychology and health and fitness, NLP. I've done a few things that like help with like the brain and all of these things. So I get people to literally love themselves and want to do it for themselves, not just for what they look like and what they think they should look like, rather than comparing themselves on social media and stuff. So getting people to want to change their life for the better for them.
It's not just about the exercise and the nutrition. You're doing the whole mind, body, spirit, soul connection.
Yeah.
It's not just about,
Yeah.
because we all know exercise, everyone knows exercise is good for you. Everyone knows that eating healthy is good for you. We know these things. I love that you focus so much more deeply on the why behind why people do these things and really getting them to change.
Yeah. And looking at it as a bird's eye perspective, like if you look, even if somebody goes to the gym 5 times a week, that's only 5 hours. You've still got 165 hours of the week. So I look at all of that as well, because like, yeah, you can have a great time in the 5 hours, but you can still be really unhappy at home or in your work or something like that, which then has that negative effect. Like you want to balance it out. If you're working well, it should flow throughout your whole life. So I became like a life coach. I'm doing my masters. I'm doing like there's just like it all comes as one. It's like a whole cycle. You can't focus on one and so yeah, that's exercise just starts things. You start to feel, you start to look at things differently because you're feeling better. So that's how it started.
And then it grew into this whole business. So if someone asked you, what do you do? How do you describe what you do?
This is really hard because it depends on what the client is. But I literally help people believe in themselves, give them the confidence through whatever that is. I help them get whatever they want aesthetically, make them feel healthier, either put weight on, lose weight, make them feel good, get them confident in whatever they want to do in the gym. I also like look at their life as a life coach and as a like help with their thought patterns, NLP, like subconsciously, like, okay, we're all living cycles. So like if they're saying to me, oh, I always lose weight, but then I always do this, okay, why do we always do that? It goes back from somewhere else. So I break cycles, I build the confidence from what they're already doing. And eventually my clients are starting businesses, they're losing weight, they're getting
Yep.
you know,
Yeah, they're getting a raise,
yeah,
promotion.
they're getting all of
Yes.
these things, as well as like actually loving it, spending, like making time for the gym, learning, like their children are following their footsteps now, like they're making, like it's just absolutely amazing. Like before they felt bad for going to the gym because they had a child, or they were always tired from work, or they didn't think they could have the business, they couldn't have this, but from doing tiny little things and just literally sitting back and looking at like their life and what they've always been through, and like we just change it completely. Sometimes it can be quite quick, sometimes it can be progressive depending on the client. But yeah, there's been massive life changes physically, mentally, spiritually, in not just the client, the whole family. And you can see how it's just like a domino effect. They become more vibrant. The whole family life becomes more vibrant. They're getting pay rises, businesses are opening. It's just great.
And how does that change you?
I feel like, I feel honored. So obviously I went through a lot, but I'm not happy it happened. But I'm so thankful it happened because I've got all this life experience. So I can actually resonate with my clients when they're going through something. And whatever happened wouldn't have led me to where I am now. So I'm just honored that it happened, and it's opened so many opportunities in my heart because I know how it feels when you're doing certain things. Like just get so happy. Like it just makes everything you've been through, it just makes it worth it. Like I'm feeling better, but on top of that, I'm making so many other people feel better as well. Like if I can do it, coming like practically homeless to where I am now and uplifting my life, I know they can do it. And once you believe it, it happens. And that's what happens with them. They believe it and then you take the action. As soon as you believe in yourself, you're going to take action.
Yeah, it snowballs. Yes. And people need to go follow you on Instagram because you post so many inspiring, inspirational things about how you did go through this journey and how you did transform. And I love that you are really a coach of life and trying to help people with the bigger picture of life. And exercise and nutrition is part of it, and mindset is part of it. It's to me is so impactful that you have this gift. And I always say, as a coach, we learn so much from our clients. Like our clients
Yeah.
also teach us. And it's such a gift to be a coach because it's a two-way street. You know, you get from them and you see their growth, and that growth helps you grow as well as a coach. So it is, as you said, it is a gift to be able to do this for a living.
Yeah, I was literally talking about that today, actually, talking about how even as a coach, we are still human. So, like, we all have had like days where you're like, oh, could do with a lion today and different stuff like this. But then when there has been days when my clients have actually uplifted my day, and I'm like, oh, it just grounds me. And I'm like, they've actually grounded me a few times when they've had their wins or something like that. And I'm like, I literally love this. So it does actually work both ways. When they're having a good day, I'm having a good day. It's just amazing. So you're kind of all in the same boat. So yeah, I'm so thankful for my clients, like, and because they trust me. Like I went through a phase of, oh my god, these clients trust me with their life because it's a very personal thing, isn't it? The things they say to you, and like especially as a PT, and like some of the trauma things that we might have to uncover and things. It's very personal, and I just sit there like, if this person like trusts me, they haven't even met me, and I'm just like, yeah, I generally feel honored. And I'm like, when I see them get the wins, I think I get more emotional because they don't actually, sometimes you don't remember how far you've come, myself included, until
Yeah.
someone reminds you and they're like, oh yeah. But I get more emotional because they don't see themselves like that, but I still see them like that. So it's good.
Yes. It's so powerful. It's powerful. So you have written two books, which we must discuss. So you have written two books. What made you decide you wanted to start to write and become an author?
So I didn't actually decide to write. A lot of people were telling me, so like there's snippets of my life where we haven't really discussed, but there's like bits of my life, and everyone was like, you should just write a book, you should write a book. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And then I was like, yeah, I just let that go past. But then like I was just like, do you know what? Because I noticed with my coaching how much I was actually helping people. And someone was like, it actually did come across. So I actually put across I was going to write a book, and I put it on my vision board. I had a mindset coach. And then before you know it, I'm having an interview with this guy called Marco. And he was like, actually, I was just putting my house up for sale. I was going to go traveling, and I was going to write a book and all of this stuff. And then he was like, actually, we're looking for people that have turned their life around, that want to help other people. And we're doing a world book tour as well. And I was just like, I've literally just written that on my vision board like a few weeks ago. And I was like, oh my God, this is just like other people telling me to do this. So that's the first book. So where it's like a little bit of my life, like there's so many amazing other co-authors that I'm writing with. Have had like similar experiences or completely different experiences where they've had an experience in life where they've had to turn their life around. So that's what that one is. So it's just that book's more motivational. If we can do it, you can do it. And then the second book that I'm doing is a solo one by myself. It's experience of like thankful that everything happens, and like just like all the steps I've taken to literally turn my life around from literally nothing, like mentally, physically, financially, spiritually, absolutely everything, and steps on how you can flip that around, where to go. and how to move up, really. So it's more of a guide, but through my own experiences, qualifications.
It's giving your coaching experience to a much broader audience.
Yeah.
Exactly, is what it's doing, which is incredible.
It's like what I'm providing to my clients now, but through a book, kind of.
Right. So you can reach a much broader audience by doing that,
Yeah. Yeah.
which
It's going
is
to be
really
great.
powerful.
Someone reads that book, it can save their life. It saved my life just by doing certain things. I've been in hospitals, mental hospitals. I've been in all that. Saved my own life, and I know that I can save so many people's lives, physically and mentally. So I used to be scared of talking out about my personal stuff, but now I'm like, do you know what? Can actually help so many people.
Yes, it can. So you just mentioned the word scared because I was going to ask you, how do you deal with fear? Because there is fear when you go to try something new, do something
Mhm.
new, start a new business, write a book, all the things that you're doing. There can be a lot of fear. And there also can be a lot of fear around imposter syndrome. Like, why does anyone
Yeah.
care what I have to say or what I've done? So, what do you personally do to help yourself battle those fears?
The first fear is just an emotion. Every single emotion is going to come and go. I always do that. And the emotion is always attached to the thought. The thought is something that's probably imposter syndrome. I can't do this. I can't do that. So then I battle with that and learn how to deal with the emotion. You either use it or you let it run you. So I use that emotion and put it into something good, either gym, into my work, into like good things. And then with the thought processes, so like, this is going to fail. Why would people want to listen to me? I always counterbalance it. Is that actually true? Why don't people want to listen to me? Has anybody told me they don't want to listen to me? Well, actually, no, a lot of people have told me they do want to listen to me and I'm actually helping them. So it's just like, is that just my head telling me that? Or is it somebody else physically saying that? If I'm in subconsciously, I always say, I can't do this. And probably it comes out my mouth sometimes as well. But then I'll look at like, I've done so many other things. Why can't I do this? Like you've proved yourself wrong every single time. So if you've got active thoughts, I literally just like write them down. It's as simple like you can do it on the spot. Like just write it down. Is that actually true? Back it up with a fact, and then obviously with the emotion, just understand this is just an emotion. You've got through every other bad day. You've got through a lot worse than this, and just recognizing anything that you do that is the first rep is going to be uncomfortable, and but you've got to learn to love that because that's where you grow the most. So if you don't
Yeah.
do that, you're just going to stay in one place. So you kind of have to like use it, use it to your ability. Like you kind of get used to it.
Yeah. So you mentioned a couple of things I think are so important. It's like you have to be aware. You have to be aware of those thoughts. You have to question whether they're based in fact or not, which I love. I've had multiple guests come on the show talking about, the facts behind the story that we tell ourselves, which is so powerful, right? So often our narrative is not actually based in fact if we really
Mm,
challenge ourselves for the facts. And then you talked about emotion, which I love because I've also had lots of guests come on the show talking about the importance of feeling the emotion and working through the emotion. And you made such a great point about trying to take that emotion and not stuff it down and find a way to positively channel that emotion of fear.
yeah, a massive thing. And I think having some sort of emotional intelligence is always good as well because when you're in emotion, sometimes you don't make the right decision. So you've got to learn when you are in emotion to just like sit back, use the emotion and put it into the right place rather than you can either use it for a positive thing or you can do it for a reactive thing. So like say if you were, I don't know, for an example, you was in an argument with a partner or something, you can got the option. You can either say something from the emotion that might go backfire, or you can sit down, look at it, reflect, and be like, actually, what am I actually learning from this? And this is what I always try and do. If I'm feeling something uncomfortable, rather than reacting, I'll be like, okay, what can I learn from this? What's happening? Am I in too emotion? Like, what's going on? So when you are feeling some sort of emotion you don't like, it's perfect. Like, it's like, okay, this is time for me to learn something. What am I learning rather than react? So learn and then react when you've literally looked at yourself first.
Right. Take a pause, look
Yeah.
inward first.
Yeah.
Yes. Such good advice. So, what does a day in your life look like?
I always start the day by myself. So I will either be going, if it's a rest day, I'll be going for a walk, like literally in nature. Sometimes I have a podcast on, sometimes I'll just be listening to binaural beats or just literally nothing. And then I will head to the gym. So I always start my day with doing something for myself, and then come back. I will check in with all of my clients. And then depending on what day it is, I'll either be doing calls, I'll be seeing clients face to face, I'll be speaking to PT. I don't know. It all depends on business at that
Yeah.
point. But yeah, and then I'll be taking for myself regularly. I'll be taking like regular walks or just like every few hours, just going back to myself. But predominantly after that, I'll be with clients or reading before bed or something like that.
So the key takeaway to me of what you said is that throughout the day, you have little doses of things that you do that are all about you and all about fueling you.
Yeah.
It's not just, the one and done in the beginning of the day, which is great. And your morning routine, I think, is so important. But you have all these other ways throughout the day that you infuse things that make you feel good with you and infuse ways for you to get in touch with yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Like I've literally got it scheduled into my diary. Like I've got color coordinations. Yellow is my personal time, and then like you've got purple and red depending on what it is. And for like client time and different things. So I always start the day off with yellow, and then like you'll see like throughout the day, I'll be like, right, I'm going for a walk here. I'm going to have my lunch here. I'm going to do this. So I know that no matter how busy I get, whatever comes up in life, I know I can just go reset myself, and then I'll come back fresh. That will always happen, no matter what I'm doing. Even like I went to Scotland for an event. Every single event I've been to a few. They've been really long events. They're really long events. I have literally stood up and gone and take myself for an hour's break because like I've just started to feel like, okay, I'm getting tired now. And people have
Yeah.
come up to me and, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just taking a breather. Like I'm just relaxing and then I'll be back. And they're like, oh, okay. But I've done it for every single event. I think it's so important just to come back to yourself.
Yeah. Recharge yourself.
Yeah, that's the one. Recharge myself. And then I go back feeling fresher and like up for it again. But I feel like if I'm constantly going and going and going, it just pulls you down a little bit. You do need to be your authentic self, you need to know who you are and all constantly recharging. So
Yeah.
I perform better when I get that time by myself or doing something for myself. So that's a must.
Yeah. Well, and you also mentioned something that I think is important that ties back into the confidence, which is what we started the conversation with, which is having the confidence to do that in an environment where not everybody else is doing that and being confident enough and knowing what you need for yourself to be your optimal self and being fine saying, yeah, I'm going to go step out for an hour. And
Yeah.
that takes a lot of confidence to not be swayed to have to, suffer through, let's say, right? Power through, stack it up, suffer through, and to do something that other people might not be doing, but yet you're making choices that are the best choices for you.
Yeah. The past me would have never have done that. I wouldn't have even been aware that I was getting tired or like this is quite a lot now. It's just like now I've learned to be my authentic self. I'm confident in making myself like great. I can literally just say, no, this is good for me right now. If something doesn't align with what I know that's good for me, I am so confident in saying, it's okay, thank you. It's a way you say it, but like I'm so confident in saying and walking away or saying this is going to actually do better for me. Whereas before I was in so many situations that made me feel not great because I didn't have the confidence to speak up for myself. Whereas now I don't like say anything badly, but I'll just be like, I think this will just benefit me or this isn't feeling right. And then that's that. Like it doesn't have to be anything deep really. You just got to say, actually, I prefer it this way.
Right. Yeah. Getting comfortable saying no, something as basic as no.
I talk about that a lot with my clients because you can see a lot of people do live a life with people pleasing. And I lived my whole life doing that. Hence what led to that. So saying no can be really, especially if you've always done it, it's hard because you feel like you get the thoughts like, oh, what are they thinking about? What are they doing? Like you get a lot of thoughts, like the backlash in your head, not even maybe from them, from your head.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you have to be confident and just be like, who are you saying it to? They should have your best interest as well. If they don't have your best interest, then you've got to question them.
Right. Then you don't want them in your life. And
Yeah.
like you said before, so much of this, it's like a muscle. The more you practice the things that you're talking about to help build your confidence, the easier it becomes. And then you don't even second guess or question or think about the idea of saying no when someone asks you to do something or wants you to, go do this. And you're like, that just doesn't align. And you don't even question it. It just becomes the way of life.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've always been like that. If it doesn't align, I didn't know I was like that. If it felt funny, like inside, but even when I was younger, I was like, this didn't feel right. Or somebody says, how do you make your decisions? I always used to, when I was very unaware of things. I was just like, I don't know, I just follow my feelings. And I never knew what that meant
Yeah.
until I learned it. And then people used to say, like, the people I was around were like, you're always causing a fuss because you don't just get on with it and you don't. And I'm like, but it doesn't feel right. And I never knew why things didn't feel right until I've learned to, like, right, okay, listen to every single time I haven't listened to my feelings or my intuition, it's led me down the wrong path and it's led to a bad ending. So listening to your intuition is the best thing. That is probably being aware of your intuition is the biggest thing.
It's a huge gift and takes time to learn also as well. Just for everybody who's listening, it doesn't happen overnight. It is a learned skill, and everyone's intuition speaks to them in different
Hmm.
ways. Also, not
Exactly.
everybody's intuition speaks to them as loudly or in the same way. I've met people that are like, "Oh, my intuition comes in pictures. I see pictures. I see things." And then there's the meaning in what I see. So it's different for everybody, and it is a learned skill. How do your clients find you?
They love me.
But how do people find you? Like, how
Oh,
like,
fine.
I know I found you no, I know they love you. Okay, you have the most incredible energy, and I know I found you on Instagram, and I don't know if you were following me or I was following you or there was some way that I started following you, and I was like, "Wow, her energy is just really
Thank
positive,"
you.
and I just was really drawn to your energy and the content you were putting out there. So, how do your clients normally find you?
The same. Quite a few of my clients have come from word of mouth through current clients. How I've, like, they've seen me like change their life. I've had a few, like, from there, and then the rest has been like social media. I used to work in like a gym, and I used to get clients from there. And so it is predominantly social media.
Yeah. Which I love that because social media is a hard way to make a living, folks. So, but your content is really real and authentic. So it draws the right people to you, which is also really important that you are being authentically you and you are attracting the right people
Mm.
into your life. Are there days that you just look at your life and you think, I can't even believe that this is my life and that these are the people that are in it?
Yeah, quite frequently. Like, I'm just like this. I don't know. Like, I love my life. I don't know. I can't imagine it any other way. But when I actually do look back, I'm just like, how much it's changed. Like, so everything. I'd like when I used to teach full time and stuff. I used to have like this on a Friday night. I would be so tired. I'd fall asleep by 9 o'clock. I'd probably go out drinking. Sunday, I'd be like, oh my god, it's work again tomorrow. But now it's just like flow of niceness throughout the whole week. Obviously, I'm busy, but I literally get up. I love getting up and doing what I do. And I never thought I would actually get up and do that. So
Yeah.
you have to check in, like, yeah, like my life now, the opportunity, I never thought I'd have the opportunities that I have now coming from where I've come from. And just literally love, like, I feel so thankful that I get to do this for a job. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I get up and I am actually generally thankful. I get to go to the gym and then I get to help other people feel good. Like, that's just an amazing job. Like, I don't actually know how else to say it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And what's also amazing for people, if you don't remember the beginning of the story, this has all happened in like 5 years, which is not a long time to have completely transformed your life.
It's not. And like, if I think about how far I've come just in 5 years, I always think, wow, where could I be in another 5 years? Like, I am so excited. Like, I've never had excitement for the future before. I used to get like excited for a night out or seeing my friend or something like that. Now my vision is huge. Like, I actually call myself delusional because, like, now I've seen how quickly I can turn things around. Where I could
Mhm.
be in 5 years, if I told people, would probably be delusional and they'll be like, what? So
No, but that's how you create it. So what's on your bucket list? What big things do you want to do?
I want to reach as many people as I can because I know I've got potential. I can help. I already am helping a lot of people. I know I can help people, and I'm such a big perspective of literally the way they look at themselves. Self love is absolutely everything, and having the confidence for themselves. I don't think that's enough. And so I can. That's my biggest thing, is getting that word out and being more confident on stage. So I've started doing like what world, like I'm classed as an international speaker now. So
Yeah.
I want to get not more confident because I'm good. I'm confident that I'm going to do it, but I want to get better at it. Do you know, like when I've done it, and now I'm like, okay, I can improve on this bit. I can improve on this bit. So
Totally. Yeah.
yeah, my podcast, I only just started that like a couple of months ago. I can't wait to see that where that is in a year or two. Traveling, just I don't know, like literally so many things. I'm going to start with my own workshops. I'm going to do my own. I don't know. There's just so many things. I've got business
So many.
ideas with other people. Yeah, like literally, there's so many different things going on. So I can't say because someone asked me this before, and I said before I could give you a definitive answer, but now because I've seen how quickly I can change my life, how things change rapidly, I could like maybe I don't even know what's going to come because it's just I never believed I would be where I am now. So I can tell you, like I could be somewhere else completely next month or next year.
I love that because I actually have said the same thing very recently when asked that same question. And I did an exercise in 2024 of projecting where it would be in 2027. And where I am in 2025 looks nothing like the
Yeah,
path I thought I was going to be on to 2027. And so for me, I said, when I was asked that same question, I honestly cannot even imagine where I will be in 2027. I really can't. And that's not a bad thing. I think in some ways it removes the attachment to trying to do the things to progress into the future.
yeah.
It allows an opening of the possibilities because when you're living in a space that's so creative and so purpose driven, it's hard to say, and you don't necessarily even wanna limit yourself, 'cause I'm like you, if people really heard what I said I wanted to do in 2027, they'd be like, "Yeah, okay, whatever, you're
Yeah,
crazy."
this is what I feel delusional, but it's not.
But you're not. You're not crazy at all because there's nothing wrong with having these big dreams, and who's to say? Like, why not? Why not? And if it doesn't start with you believing in yourself and having the mindset that it's possible, how is anyone else ever gonna believe in themselves either, you know? Like, it has to start with you. All of it starts with you.
And if you always say, I'm going to do this in this year, or I'm going to do this in this year, you end up actually saying no to things. Like I remember I was getting in a cycle of just doing things like day to day. And I could see myself actually, I have had a lot of opportunities. I was complaining to myself, oh, you haven't done this, you haven't done this. And do you know about Louise? But you've actually said no a few times because you wanted to get there. So like
Yeah.
now I was just like, right, the opportunities are coming, but you just haven't said yes. So like I went into this year, like this year I'm going to say yes. Now I'm just I've got no home. I'm just gonna, like, like now I can see like opportunities are here. So if you say you're going to be somewhere, you kind of shut yourself off from other opportunities. But if you are kind of like, do you know what? I don't actually know. I'm open to ideas. You kind of go with what feels good to you, and
Right.
you go more. So I don't like saying I'm definitely going to be here in 2026 because I don't know. Like I don't even know where I'm going to be at the end of September. So I know what I'm going to be doing as my purpose. I know what my purpose is, but how I'm going to do it, I
Yes.
don't know.
Which I love. I couldn't agree more. I think you were so right. And I had someone who was also a coach who was a guest on my show say, if you're saying like, okay, here's the future mark, and this is an example for people, here's the future mark. I want to make $2 million by this year. Who's to say you might miss the opportunity that's the $4 million
Yeah,
opportunity? Because you're so focused on where that one path is that the opportunity you might miss the opportunity or you might say yes to the wrong opportunity or you might just be telling the universe that's the opportunity I want, that's the lane I want, and then it's
yeah.
closing off the openness energetically to a bigger different lane.
That's one thing I do struggle with. Do you know, like when you have to write down? Well, you don't have to do this, but sometimes where you have a journal, someone will say, write down how much you want to earn, write down what you want to do. I never actually know because how do I know what figure am I gonna like? I'm not gonna. Do you see what I mean? That is one
Yes.
area I do struggle with because if I say that, am I limiting it? Is that when you're talking about manifesting, they're saying be specific in what you want, but then you might like I'm very open, and what will come is already coming for me anyway. So
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I struggle with that exact same thing because all the books say like write down exactly what you want. And I'm like, but if I'm too specific, I need to be specific, but if I'm too specific, maybe I really am closing off the opportunity, especially when it comes to
Yeah,
finances. So I've started focusing myself personally on freedoms. I want to achieve freedoms. I want freedom financially. I want freedom of creativity. I want freedom to own my own time, the freedom to choose my relationships, the freedom to choose where I live, and trying to really tap into the energy for me of freedom and have that be my focus. Because how I achieve those freedoms, who's to say that how I think I'm going to achieve those freedoms is how I'm going to achieve those freedoms? Because then I found I also set myself up for disappointment and feeling like I failed when I was like, okay, I'm going to achieve that freedom by selling this and doing this and generating revenue here and here. It's going to come from here, here, and here. And then when you don't, you feel like you failed. And that's not a good feeling either.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think just being specific in some way, but being too specific, I think it can cut you off and it can cause a little bit of friction within yourself, because you're just like, well,
Yeah.
I was meant to have done this by this one and you should have done that. But and then you're just like, but actually something bigger and better is coming. But along that, you had to learn, because you probably wouldn't have been able to handle that figure. Something bigger is coming, but you needed to learn how you was going to actually work with it when it actually did come in. So everything happens for a reason. And so to go with the flow.
Yes, exactly. Flow and fly. My mantra for the year, flow and fly. All right. So we've taken so much of your time. So before we go, I always love to ask my guests if there's a book that they have read that has impacted them personally or professionally that they would like to recommend to the listeners, because I believe books change lives. We will obviously write into the show notes about your upcoming books so that people can get them when they both come out later this year. But what book would you like to recommend people go and dig into?
I love a book called You Are a Magnet that I literally love. It. It's called, it's from Amber Lyons. It's not a very recognized book. Like, it's not somewhere like, you've got like The Power of Now, you've got all of these, like everybody's read these, but You Are a Magnet, and not many people have read that. It's all about your world is you on the inside, like it's just reflecting. It's just always like literally always, it just reminds you to, if something's going wrong or something's like in your relationships, your finances, something like that, it's always like that is a reflection of you. So you are a magnet, you attract what you are, not like, so it's just I've read it so many times now, just because sometimes it's just good to just write, do you know what, it just makes you remember to whatever's going on to go inwards. Hence the reason I always go inwards every few hours. First thing, it's just a really good book. So it's Amber Lyons, You Are a Magnet, and it's literally explaining how your world is just that you're just looking at yourself on an outside perspective. That's basically what it teaches you. And I've read it so many times now. It's just as a reminder. It's just like an easy read. It's a reminder to go inwards and why. And I just love it. So I've read like lots of books, but I think that's just like an easy read, and it's just a really good reminder.
I am going to have to read that, because it is a philosophy that I truly believe that we're all just energy, and that if you're unhappy with what's going on the outside, you need to look on the inside, and that we like attracts like. But I love a new read. So thank you. I'm going to go check that one
really
out, because sometimes even those of us who could sit on social media and say we have amazing lives, like every day is not sunshine and roses, folks. And we struggle with all the same things and the challenges and having to get the right mindset. And just, it's a process. It's a journey. It's something that we love to do, but it doesn't mean that we're not proactively having to do all these things every day in our own lives as well.
We are all still human. We're all just energy balls and just like trying to bring like good energy to the world. So I think things like that is great. She's on Instagram as well, Amber Lyons.
Ooh, I'm going to go follow her. That is so great. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you want to make sure we share with the listeners? Did I miss anything?
Not that I know of. I think you've done great.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for making the time while you're traveling. I so appreciate it. I'm going to put into the show notes, I'm going to link everything so people can follow you. They can stay up to date on your book. They can get coaching and life help from you if they're interested. I know you help people all over the world. So thank you so much, and good luck with your travels. And we will definitely stay in touch.
Thank you for having me. It's been lovely.
It's been great. Thank you. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the House of Jermar podcast, where wellness starts within. We appreciate you being a part of our community and hope you felt inspired and motivated by our guest. If you enjoyed this episode, please write us a review and share it with friends. Building our reach on YouTube and Apple Podcasts will help us get closer to our mission to empower 1 million women to live all in. You can also follow us on Instagram at House of Jermar, and sign up to be a part of our monthly inspiration newsletter through our website, houseofjermar.com. If you or someone you know would be a good guest on the show, please reach out to us at podcast@houseofgermar.com. This has been a House of Germar production with your host, Jean Collins. Thank you for joining our house.